You ever wonder if your neighbor's just a little too quiet? Like the kind of quiet where you're not sure if they're an introvert or just cataloging your every move like it's their full-time job? Yeah. Welcome to the suburbs, where the hedges are trimmed, the smiles are fake, and someone might be watching you right now from their upstairs window with binoculars they swear are just for bird watching. This isn't paranoia. These are 5 creepy true neighbor stories that'll make you sleep with a knife. And if you think your neighbor's weird now, just wait. Let's ease in with something subtle. No jump scares, no blood. Just that slow, creeping what the hell is happening vibe you feel when someone knows your dog's name, but you've never met them. 1. The Watchtower Neighbor, aka how to become the star of someone else's found footage. Meet Ben, early 30s. Just moved into a quiet suburb where people say things like great community and low crime rate and property taxes are worth it. He thinks he's escaped city chaos for backyard peace. Think again, my dude. Ben starts noticing something weird. His neighbor, Phil, is always outside on his second-floor balcony, standing, watching, no phone, no book, not even pretending to water a plant, just still. Like a haunted mannequin with HOA approval. At first, it's just weird, then it gets haunting. Ben starts noticing things around his yard being moved. Not stolen, just rearranged. A patio chair shifted 2 inches. The hose curled into a perfect spiral, his trash bins lined up by height. Like someone with OCD and boundary issues is staging a photo shoot while he's gone. So Ben gets a motion sensor camera, because unlike horror movie victims, Ben is smart. And what does the footage show? Phil, climbing Ben's fence, walking the perimeter of the yard like he's performing some bizarre ritual, staring into the windows, just standing there, not breaking in, not touching anything. Just watching. But wait, we're just getting started. Cops are called. They check out Phil's place. And it's worse than you're imagining. This man has multiple cameras on tripods with zoom lenses pointed at Ben's yard, including one hidden inside a fake birdhouse with night vision. This isn't surveillance. This is a side hustle in stalking. Cops can't charge much. Turns out being a creep isn't technically illegal unless you cross a very blurry line. But the message is clear. Phil wasn't interested in security. He was compiling the Ben cinematic universe. Phil moved out shortly after, possibly to start watching a new main character. And Ben, he now owns more floodlights than a prison yard and hasn't opened his blinds since. Transition. And if you thought that was unsettling, just wait till your neighbor stops watching you and starts tunneling toward you. Yes, you read that right. Because up next, we've got a story where a neighbor doesn't just cross property lines, he burrows under them. Let me know when you're ready for part 2, story number 2, The Tunnel Rat. And we'll keep the nightmare crawl space wide open. The Tunnel Rat, aka when your neighbor treats property lines like optional suggestions. Meet Jamie, new homeowner, fresh start. Finally living that suburban dream, a backyard, peace and quiet. And no more upstairs neighbors who think clog dancing is cardio. But dreams, as we know, are just prequels to nightmares. It starts small. She hears noises beneath her house. Not the usual pipe settling excuse. We're talking shuffling, scratching, like something or someone is beneath her feet, trying to get closer. She checks the crawl space. Nada. Basement? Clean. But the sounds keep coming, every night, every time she's alone. Then one day, her backyard sinks, not dramatically, just a weird dip in the grass, like the earth shrugged at her. She calls a contractor to investigate. What he finds? Not a broken pipe, not a burrow from a rogue raccoon, a tunnel, hand-dug, rough, just big enough for a person to crawl through. It goes from under her house, straight toward her neighbor's basement. At the end of this human-sized mole hole, a guy named Arthur, sweet elderly man, keeps to himself, smiles a lot. You know the type, a human cardigan. Turns out, Arthur had been tunneling for months. His reason? He wanted to create a personal access system in case of emergencies. Sir, this is a neighborhood, not a Cold War bunker. Jamie calls the police. Arthur is baffled. I never went into her house. he insists, like digging under it is somehow a moral loophole. The kicker? When the police searched Arthur's home, they found blueprints, not just of Jamie's house, but multiple houses on the block. The man was planning a full-on underground neighbor network. What's that old saying? Good fences make good neighbors? Yeah, not when they're underground. Arthur didn't get jail time, just a serious psych eval and some very concerned glances from the entire community. Jamie, meanwhile, reinforced her foundation and installed concrete under her crawl space, just in case Arthur had return plans. And that's why neighbors digging under your house should now be filed under new primal fear unlocked. Now, so far we've had silent stalkers and dirt goblins. But our next neighbor, she takes creepy to a whole new level. And I mean full-on ritual sacrifice vibes. Because what's scarier than being watched or tunneled toward? Easy. Being targeted by blood magic. Let me know when you're ready for story number 3, The Blood Lady. Things are about to get ritualistically unhinged. Let's crank the weirdness dial to witch mode. Featuring one neighbor who skips straight past eccentric and lands firmly in you need an exorcist territory. The Blood Lady, aka your passive-aggressive neighbor, but with a side of sacrifice. Alright, this one comes from a couple named Drew and Carla, just had their first baby. Bought a charming home on a quiet street. You know, the kind of place where everyone waves, lawnmowers harmonize on Saturdays, and your mailman knows your dog's name, Margot, their next-door neighbor. Margot seemed oddly welcoming, baked them cookies, gave them parenting books from the 1980s, said things like, "The energy in your home is shifting." Okay, weird, but maybe she's just into vibes and gluten. But then, gifts started arriving. Not baby clothes, not casseroles. No, Margot left a mobile made of bones, not plastic ones, not cutesy Halloween decor. We're talking real looking, possibly teeth. Either way, not Etsy approved. Drew and Carla laugh it off. Nervous laugh. You know, the kind you use when you don't want to offend someone who might know how to hex your bloodline. Then the accusations start. Margot corners Carla at the mailbox and whispers, "Your child is draining the light from this property," as if her newborn is a demonic Roomba sucking up spiritual Wi-Fi. Now, Carla is understandably rattled. She starts keeping a closer eye out. That's when they find a small bottle on their welcome mat. No label, just a crimson liquid that looks way too real. They call the cops. The bottle is tested. Guess what it is? Blood. Animal, probably, but still. Not what you want marinating on your porch, courtesy of the friendly neighbor. And it gets worse. Margot begins performing full-blown rituals in her backyard. We're talking bonfires, chanting, smoke wafting over the fence like an unholy barbecue. At one point, she stands in her yard for hours, staring at their house, arms raised like she's summoning ancient spirits. Or maybe just trying to make it rain trauma. But the cherry on this bloody Sunday? One night, Drew grabs the front doorknob, and it's sticky. Later, the forensic lab confirms it. More blood. This woman is basically seasoning their house like it's a haunted meatloaf. Eventually, police intervene, and Margot is placed under psychiatric care. Turns out, she'd been off her meds and fully believed their baby was some kind of parasitic entity sent to disrupt the energy grid of her body, which, while creative, is still deeply concerning. Drew and Carla noped the hell out and moved 6 months later. Their new neighbors? Retired librarians. 0 blood offerings. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Okay, so far we've had creepers, crawlers, and chaos witches. But nothing, I mean nothing, prepares you for the realization that someone has been secretly living above you. Because next up, we've got a story where the horror isn't coming from outside your home. It's been hiding inside it. Let me know when you're ready for part 4, the grand finale featuring the attic man and the clone. Across the hall, plus a closing punch you'll feel in your spine. Ready to finish this horror ride? You've made it to the final descent. Time to seal the deal with part 4. This section drops the 2 most disturbing stories, the attic man and the clone across the hall. The attic man, aka that bump in the night, yeah, it has a name. Our next story comes from Kayla, a college student renting an off-campus house. Cute place, cheap rent. She even jokes about it being creepy but cozy. Spoiler alert, It was just creepy. First sign something's wrong, food keeps disappearing, nothing major, just a granola bar here, a yogurt there. Roommates point fingers. You ate it and forgot. Sure, okay, classic roommate drama, then things escalate. Kayla wakes up one night and swears she hears footsteps. Inside the walls, everyone laughs it off. Old houses creak, they say. But walls don't creak in human pacing patterns. So, Kayla sets up a hidden camera in the kitchen. The next morning, she checks the footage, and her soul evacuates her body. Around 2:47 a.m., a ceiling tile in the pantry shifts. A leg lowers down, then a man, a full-grown man, climbs out of the ceiling like a horror movie demon. He raids the fridge, drinks milk straight from the carton, which, honestly, should be a crime by itself, then vanishes back into the ceiling like it's just a Tuesday night. Turns out this guy had been living in the attic for weeks, quiet, careful, feeding off leftovers, stealing shampoo, and creeping around only at night. The attic didn't have a lock. No one thought to check. Because why would they? It's an attic, not a hotel suite. Cops find him still hiding up there, with blankets, snacks, and a knife. When asked why he did it, he just mumbled, "It felt like home." Excuse me, what? Kayla and her roommates moved out that week, which is fair. Because once someone's been living above your head without you knowing, no amount of Febreze or sage can cleanse that kind of trauma. You think that's personal? Oh no. The final story isn't just terrifying, it's obsessive. Because our last neighbor doesn't want to watch you or haunt you. They want to be you, the clone. Across the hall, aka you but make it unholy, doppelganger edition, Adam moves into a mid-rise apartment building. Great location, clean hallways, everything's fine until he meets Kenny. Kenny's his neighbor across the hall. Friendly, too friendly, he asks weirdly specific questions. Comments on Adam's clothes, his shoes, his watch. Then the copying starts. Adam buys a new couch, Kenny buys the same one. Adam gets a haircut, Kenny shows up with the exact same cut 2 days later. It's not just mimicry, it's full-blown skinwalking cosplay. But it doesn't stop at looks. Adam starts finding things slightly off in his apartment. A pen moved, his TV tuned to something he didn't watch. He blames forgetfulness, until a package arrives at his door. Inside, a Polaroid of himself, sleeping. From inside his bedroom, security footage confirms it. Kenny somehow got a copy of Adam's key. He's been sneaking in, studying him, copying every habit, every mannerism. He even kept a journal titled Becoming Adam. Inside were handwritten entries like, he brushes his teeth for exactly 92 seconds. He reads horror. I must learn to love horror. The merge is close. Police find a literal shrine in Kenny's apartment. Photos, used coffee cups, a sock, like a Pinterest board, but make it psychotic. Kenny was arrested and charged with multiple counts of stalking and unlawful entry. Adam moved out, state lines away. To this day, he avoids mirrors, because every time he sees his reflection, he half expects it to blink back, out of sync. South. What have we learned today? Don't ignore the attic. If your neighbor owns night vision cameras, that's not a hobby. And if someone starts copying your hair, your couch, and your literal identity, pack your bags and change your name. Creepy neighbors aren't just fiction, they're real, they're watching. And some of them are way too comfortable with knowing your exact bedtime. If you've ever thought, my neighbor's a little strange, congrats, you're officially in danger. So go ahead, double check your locks, set up that motion camera, and maybe sleep with a knife, just in case. Enjoyed the ride through neighborhood nightmares? Smash that like button like it's your only line of defense. Hit subscribe for more true horror that'll ruin your trust in humanity. And tell me in the comments, what's the creepiest thing you've ever seen a neighbor do? Until next time, stay safe, stay suspicious, and for the love of all that's unholy, never trust a neighbor with binoculars and a birdhouse.